Hey, Suzanne here. So this is Module 1, Lesson 3. And remember, I just want to recap. In Lesson 1, we took the quiz or a check-in, and we determined only one sign or symptom that was burning us out. We did that. Then, and I'll give you I'll just tell you, many of my students have said, Suzanne, I just can't pick one. And eventually they do pick only one because that's all I'll let them do, and they move forward. So you have to pick only one. Then in lesson 2, we looked at the physical, the mental, and the emotional side of caregiving. And you've identified your number one energy drain. That's great work. I'm proud of you for doing that. And then you said it out loud. Maybe you even put it in the community. And then you wrote down your number one symptom. And remember, you could only pick one. Was it more rest that you needed? Was it more help that you needed? Or was it more control? Remember Kathy? She said she needed more control, but she realized that with her mother, she had no control. But what did she have control over? Routines. So she set up routines. Now it's time for you to do something about yours. This isn't about a perfect plan. Nobody said it's going to be perfect. Because why? As I've said, caregiving is always changing. It doesn't stay the same because your parent or your loved one is aging. So it's always going to keep changing. What we're going to do is keep your balance intact all along the way. All right. So it's about the small, repeatable actions that bring your energy back online or in line with the rest of your life. So here are 3 simple moves to start your rebooting today. Move number 1. I want you to step back. I don't want you to power through. You don't need to be powering through this one sign or symptom that you have identified. Caregivers are world class at just pushing through. But that is the very thing that turns fatigue into full burnout every single time. So when you feel that internal, I can't keep doing this, don't ignore it. I want you to step back literally. Go outside, take a glass of water, stretch your body, get up, move around. You don't need a day off to pause. You just need 60 seconds of separation to reset your brain. 60 seconds. You may think that 60 seconds is not very long, but if you've ever waited in line for 60 seconds or waited on a telephone for 60 seconds, 60 seconds is extremely long, especially if you have commercials on your TV and the first thing you do is look in the upper right corner or left corner to see how long the commercials are going to come on. And you groan if it's over 1 minute, right? 60 seconds is a very valid amount of time. So separate and reset your brain for those 60 seconds. You can do this. You can do this. 60 seconds is not very long, but it's extremely long when we're resetting our brain, and we need it. All right, move number 2. We're going to say one true thing out loud. One true thing out loud. Either tell somebody or tell yourself the truth. Either I'm exhausted, I'm angry, I feel invisible. Naming the emotion is what moves it out of your nervous system, as I have said, and into the world, into the universe. It's not complaining, it's about processing. And this is one of the reasons that therapy works so well, is because we talk it out. And some days you get back from therapy and you might wonder, why am I even paying this person? Because you're getting it out there. You're speaking it out there. It goes out into the universe. That's what therapy is. You're talking to somebody about it. So I want you to start processing this in a way by speaking it out loud. And once you've said it, follow with one rounding phrase, something like, I'm still here and it's going to be okay. I'm still here and I'm fine and I'm safe. So think about speaking it out. Now move number 3. And here we go again. You're going to choose one area to lighten the load. And what is load lightening? We're going to talk about that in a minute. But pick something, one area to lighten the load. It's going to be a 10% improvement, and that's it. Not 100% improvement. It's not going to rock your world. It's just going to be little itty bitty increments that you are going to be putting into place. Maybe it's asking your sibling to cover a doctor's visit or saying no to an extra errand. Maybe it's ordering groceries online instead of running out after dinner. One change that makes life slightly easier is worth more than 5 changes that you'll never keep up with. You can make a list of to-dos that's going to choke a horse. That's not what we're looking at here. Delivering groceries or delivering a medication. Think about this. Have you ever asked a pharmacy, do you guys deliver? Have you ever found a pharmacy that delivers so you don't have to worry about it anymore? These are the simple things you can ask. Have you ever asked your senior's doctor for his or her cell phone number? Or how you can get a hold of them and not an answering service from some other country that doesn't even understand our medical system? How do you get a hold of the person you need to speak to? What do you do in that case? So here's a trick. You'll repeat these 3 moves every time you start slipping back into your symptom or your exhaustion, whatever it is. And they're going to become your internal rescue plan. Your internal rescue plan. Okay? One of my clients, Maria, she used to say, I can't rest until everything's done. And after 2 weeks of trying these steps, she realized something. Nothing's ever all done in caregiving, but she could pause, she could breathe, and she could make the next day 10% easier. That's all you're looking for. That changed everything. So your next action step is this. First of all, you are going to identify your warning sign. When you slip back into that old mode, and you are going to slip back, we all do. We're going to catch ourselves, okay? A warning sign, something you say, something you constantly think, something you feel in your caregiving. You have it right now. You know what these things are. They're popping up all the time in different forms, but you know what they are. But as you go through this exercise and you go through this class and you learn emotional resilience and you learn how to schedule and you learn what routines look like and you set those stages and you learn to control what you can and let go of the rest. As you learn this, these symptoms are going to be few and far between, but they're still going to pop up. Something's going to catch you off guard. And most likely it is going to be your aging parent is moving into another stage, a new stage. It's another disability. It's a new medication. It's another specialist. It's a diagnosis that you never dreamed your aging parent or loved one would have. And now they have it. And you all of a sudden, you go back into where you are now. And you say something and you start to think, this is a symptom. I'm burning out. So you're going to execute after you've become aware of this warning sign, one of these 10 symptoms of caregiving burnout that we talk about in your handout. Now you're going to execute the 3-move energy reboot plan. I know it's a mouthful, right? It's in your workbook. Look for it under lesson 3. Here you go. So what is this? All right. Number 1, my 60-second pause and reset. Again, we're going to go back to that minute. Your 60-second pause and reset. Next, one true thing I'll say out loud. Get it out of your system and into the universe. Put it there. What is that one true thing? What are you seeing? What are those symptoms, those signs? Say it out loud. And then the next thing is my one area to lighten the load. Now, we're going to talk about this load lightening because most people don't know the term. And it is incredibly easy. The phrase is your shorthand for any realistic step that reduces the physical, emotional, or mental load a caregiver like you carries every single day. All right? Think of it as the opposite of doing just one more thing. It's the small decision that makes daily life even slightly easier, faster, or calmer. Makes daily life slightly easier, faster, or calmer. So here's examples. I'm going to give them to you by category because we've already talked about these particular categories. All right? So, first of all, physical load. So let's say you identify that trigger and you're in the physical load lightning mode. How about ordering groceries and getting them delivered instead of shopping in person? How about setting up a weekly pill organizer so medication time takes 2 minutes instead of 10? How about using a shower chair so bath time isn't physically draining for you? Pre-packing snacks or snack bags for the week so you're not constantly prepping food. Making 2 or 3 meals at a time by doubling or tripling the recipe and then just cutting it in half, cutting it in a third, and freezing it so you can grab it. These are physically draining exercises, but when you think about either delegating them out to other people to do them or just doing, double, doing it one time, and setting up that routine so that now you can grab and go, grab and go, grab and go. Okay, let's talk about emotional load lightning. What's it mean by emotionally load lightning? Well, you find yourself in this situation where you're angry, your guilt, your frustration, whatever it is. You can say, not tonight, to a non urgent favor. It's not going to happen tonight. You can let go of the guilt for skipping one task this week. Let that task go. Don't feel guilty about it. Let it go. It's not going to be the end of the world. Writing your frustrations in a private journal instead of bottling them up. Again, when you speak these things out loud or when you write them down, they get out of your heart, out of your mind, and into the universe. And it changes you over and over and over again. And as I've said before, it doesn't mean you have to go back and read your journal. I think I'm on a composition notebook number 6, and we'll talk about that in a later module. But I journal, and I never read it again, but I journal just to get it out there, just to get any frustrations I feel, any disappointments I feel, anger. We all have these. It's nothing wrong with them. We get them out, and we get them out in the right way. The third one of load lightning is mental. Now, we've talked about physical, we've talked about emotional, mental load lightning. This you find yourself in putting recurring appointments on a shared calendar so you're not the reminder system. You don't have to remind yourself, just put it on a calendar and then have the calendar remind you. Have it go off 30 minutes. Your calendar, your cell phones, it can go off a day in advance. It can go off 12 hours in advance, 3 hours in advance, whatever you want. You can just make it go off as often as you want so you can remind it. Using a timer to structure your care tasks. And you stop the over checking. This is extremely important when I was caring for my mom. I did things in increments and I kind of set a timer so I didn't go overboard. We didn't get late in doing something. We weren't rushed in doing something. My mom couldn't be rushed. She would get too anxious if she was rushed. So we set a timer. If we talked for 15 minutes. And then, Mom, it looks like it's time for you to get ready for bed. It took her an hour to get ready for bed. Everything we had to do to set her up for her bedtime. But first and foremost was calming her down. It was letting the day go. We did that. And we calmed her down as we went through the routine. Everything was nice, and I tucked her in at night. And that's what I did. And I wasn't rushed, and she wasn't rushed. So we had a routine. And we're going to talk more about routines later on in the class. But routines are extremely important. I couldn't have run a classroom without routines. I couldn't have run my medical practice without routines. I had to have structure and routines. And I did the same thing with caregiving. It was structure and routines. And I did the same thing with raising my children. There were structure and there were routines that we followed. Were there flexible days? Absolutely. And sometimes I'd be more flexible than others, but there was flexible days. We're going to do that. It's not going to be perfect. It's just going to be praiseworthy. We're going to get it done one step at a time. So what kind of things could we do here? Well, creating a short nighttime ritual, as I said, to help your brain switch off from the caregiving mode. Something like not answering the phone when your mom's calling at 9 o'clock at night. Okay, it's time for your downtime. So when the worksheet says choose one area to lighten the load, it simply means to pick one thing, big or small, that you can remove, delegate, automate, or simplify this week. Let me go over that again. You can either remove it, you can delegate it, you can automate it, or simplify it this week. Make it that simple. Okay. Again, the goal is not perfection here. It's just reducing daily friction by 10%. Reducing daily friction by 10%. Keep it visible. Keep it on your refrigerator or next to your bed or wherever you're likely to see it. Okay? I don't care if you have to put it in the bathroom. You're going to read it because this is how we start turning burnout from a constant cycle into a manageable rhythm. It's going to change your life. Now, let's take it one step further. Let's track this over the next 3 weeks with these questions. And you're going to see this in your handout too under lesson 3. Did I notice my warning signs sooner? And I'm so proud of you because you are going to notice your warning signs sooner. And did I do my 3-step reboot, right? And how did I feel afterwards? So look at that. Put it on your refrigerator if you want. Remember, you're not behind. You are learning how to refuel differently. Okay? You're looking at those flashing lights on your dashboard. You're saying, hold up, it's time for me to get some gas. Something's not right. When you're angry, that light on your dashboard is an emotional light saying, Mayday, Mayday. Time for you to look at your emotions. And that's the foundation of this whole program. It's staying balanced while everything around you changes. Take care, and we'll talk again when we go into Module 2. Bye-bye.